Alright, so for this one, it's etiquette when you're actually in a dance circle that actually involves holding hands. So, when you're entering or coming in or getting ready to dance a circle dance that involves hand holding, your left hand remains still, usually around chest or waist level, mainly around mid chest, and it's always going to be face up. You keep that still, by the way. Don't move it around. Don't do that. This is the one that remains still. You don't move it. This is the hand that you need to have out, ready to have somebody next to you, your neighbor, come and grab it. Because your right hand will be going to search, and that one needs to be free, so you need to keep your left hand still for the other person's right hand to search and grab it. So, and that's the first basic thing for that. When it comes to spacing when you're in a dance circle like that, I usually try to make sure that, it's hard to do that, but since things can get really small, when you grab the other person's hand, it's like you can just keep your arms loose at the, angle that you need it to be at for either side while you're keeping hands held. And that will just give you the spacing. And just be, again, aware that within, just right outside your shoulder, is the amount of steps you use. Because it's easy to overstep with these, especially if you're doing like a hora, because you want to step big to the side because you're in a mood. Or that just happens to be your personality where you just want to be big. This is where unity comes to be a big thing. Because if you take a big step and the person behind you is following, the person behind them is still trying to keep a hold of this person, and they'll get stretched out. And that's never fun, because then they're trying to figure out, okay, they're leaving, I'm getting pulled from this person, do I slow down, do I speed up? What you need to do is just be aware of it, try to make sure that your hands are always at that angle, that loose angle, and make sure your steps are within your personal space bubble, because some people do walk a lot slower. It's hard when a slightly older lady comes in, but they can only step maybe this far. But if you keep your steps at least within this bubble, and you come and you know how to keep rhythm with that, then you're not going to break from the other lady who wants to be part of this still, and you don't accidentally break the chain. Because that's definitely one thing you don't ever want to do in a hand-holding thing, is to break the circle, or even the chain if you're wandering through the whole service room, if that's what you do. It's like you still have to be aware of spacing, you have to be aware of speed, you have to be aware of everybody, especially if you decide to go around tight turns, or you try to make this funky turn if you're doing a lead through. You have to be aware of the people in your line. And also be aware that you're not making too big of steps or anything, and if you're in the middle, don't try to overstep your personal step boundaries, because it can easily pull people out, and it's not that enjoyable. If for whatever reason that does happen though, it's easy though to if somebody breaks from this end, you just put your hand up and you hold it there as you continue in your dance circle. That way it's not flapping around doing nothing. It's also a great thing that if that does happen and somebody does want to be part of a circle, but they have this baby on their hip, they can still hold on to somebody. Usually put them at the end of that particular one. That way they can still follow. It's hard to lead with a kid in your arm unless you actually know how to do it. It's easier for the person in the lead, though, to keep their arm up. And it also tells you where the head of that chain is. I don't want to say snake, but where the head of the snake is, or the head of the chain. But we'll just say the chain and the leader for that particular chain, because even though I'm a leader, I am not a chain leader. I have somebody else who's really good at doing chain lead, and I'm totally cool with letting them still do that. So, but they keep their hands up, and then if anything breaks on the other end, we just keep our hands up, or if we happen to be right next to somebody with a kid, just keep your hand up, don't let it just fly or try to grab their hand and get anyway, just keep it up, that way you don't accidentally mess with somebody or you bring the unity down with that. Just keep it up as an praise motion of some sort. Another thing, when you're holding hands, after you make that connection with your hands, what you need to do actually is like with any glass. You want a firm hold on it, because if you don't, it will just fall right out or slip out. And it doesn't give the trust in the person next to you or confidence that you're there. It makes for a very interesting concept that you're not present or that you want to be there. And it kind of brings the energy down. So you just want to have a firm hold, like you're actually holding hands with somebody. But you still need to be able to hold the hands firmly. Don't crush them or you break the glass, but enough there so they feel confident that they're not just going to lose you or slip out, like they don't have your back or something. So, but you need to hold on, make sure that you don't break the chain, because it's still a unity thing. Otherwise, with hands and stuff like that, just make sure your steps are somewhere into that medium-small range, whether it's like here or even literally within that shoulder range. It helps a lot. But that's all it is with etiquette.